This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Wednesday means it's Wild Card Wednesday here in Instant Deck Tech land, and we are looking at another Legacy deck today. I've been enjoying the Legacy decks a lot lately, and there is some really spicy stuff happening in the Legacy format. This is Breya from the Commander decks, Opposition for Legacy, and it comes to us from Dion DeMorley, who took it to a 5-0 finish in a competitive Legacy League on Magic Online. So congrats to Dion on a really unique deck. A quick reminder before we break down Breya Opposition for Legacy. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Breya Opposition, to really understand what this deck is trying to do, we got to start off with Opposition, which is one of my favorite cards. It is a really bustedly powerful enchantment in the right deck. So 4 mana enchantment, and it makes it so you can tap an untapped creature you control to tap target artifact, creature, or land, which is a big part. So what you really want to do with Opposition is get down a bunch of random creatures, and then on your opponent's upkeep, you can tap your creatures to tap down all of your opponent's lands, which basically makes it so your opponent can't play Magic. Of course, it stops other things too. Your opponent tries to like sneak attack Emrakul, you can just tap it by tapping a creature. They try to play whatever, you can tap it down. You can keep anything in check with Opposition. So to make Opposition work, you want a lot of creatures, and our deck is kind of like this weird token deck. So our two most straightforward token producers are Lingering Souls and Young Pyromancer. So Lingering Souls, just 4 spirits for 5 mana, split up with the flashback. Young Pyromancer, we cast a spell, we get an elemental. So even just think about Lingering Souls with Opposition. Let's say we play in flashback Lingering Souls and we have an Opposition out. We have essentially 4 creatures, which means we can stop 4 of our opponent's lands indefinitely. Every turn we tap down 4 of their lands. There's not that many lands on the battlefield in Legacy, so we're essentially just hard locking our opponent out of the game. Same way with Young Pyromancer and a bunch of tokens. We also have some less traditional token makers. This is where our big spicy commander finisher comes in, Breya Etherium Sculptor. So Breya costs a lot of different colors of mana. You get a 4/4 for 4 though, and when it enters the battlefield, you get 2 Thopter artifact tokens. Plus you could sack 2 artifacts to deal damage to something, to kill something, to gain some life. But really, Breya is putting 3 bodies on the battlefield for Opposition, and it's giving us some flyers, a big beater, Duretti Ingenious Iconoclast, another weird one, but it's a 3 mana planeswalker that pluses to make a 1/1 colorless construct artifact token with Defender. We can also sacrifice artifacts to blow stuff up. If we ultimate it, it's pretty good, but mostly this is just a token every single turn for our Opposition, and it happens to be artifact tokens, which means it's fueling our Breya as well, so we can sacrifice those tokens to bolt our opponent's face, to give -4/-4 to their creatures to gain life, and then Bitter Blossom, just making a fairy for free every single turn to fuel our Opposition. So we have a ton of ways to put tokens on the battlefield to fuel Opposition, and then we have a couple of backup token payoffs as well. Intangible Virtue just makes all those random 1/1s that we were talking about into 2/2s with Vigilance, and that's really key. The Vigilance part is important because what that means is we can attack with all of our tokens to get in damage, and our tokens are still untapped for our Opposition. So we get to get in damage and still keep tapping down all of our opponent's stuff every single turn. Goblin Bombardment is one of our finishers. We can, once our opponent gets low enough on life, just sacrifice our board to deal a damage with each of our tokens as they're dying. So it's a way we can throw a bunch of random damage at our opponent's face once we get them low enough on life. Otherwise, we have a couple of backup creatures. Baleful Strix, just a really valuable creature. Draw a card when it enters the battlefield. It's an artifact, so it works with Breya. It's a cheap creature we can tap for to Opposition. Plus it has Flying and Death Touch. And then Snapcaster Mage puts a body on the battlefield, plus it lets us reuse all all of our spells. Speaking of spells, Cabal Therapy, a natural fit for our deck, since we have all these tokens that we can sacrifice for the flashback, so we can blind cast it if we need to, name something, see if we get lucky and hit. If we don't, then we know what our opponent's hand is. We can sacrifice like a young Pyromancer token, and make another token along the way, or Lingering Souls token, whatever, to strip whatever's in our opponent's hand of relevance. Otherwise, we have a bunch of ways to set things up. Brainstorm, Ponder, just cantrips to dig through our deck, Faithless Looting, just a one of. Enlightened Tutor can find our opposition, it can find our Intangible Virtue. Breya is an artifact, so it finds our Breya, so we can get either half of our opposition lot combo, and some of our random payoffs as well. Otherwise, for removal, Lightning Bolt kills things, Swords to Plowshares gets rid of anything, Cold Against Command can kill stuff, get rid of artifacts. Mana base wise, not going to talk about every single land, but basically it's a bunch of fetch lands, a bunch of original dual lands, some basic lands. That's why the deck is pretty expensive. The mana base, it's brutal in Legacy with the original duels. As far as the sideboard, that's where you find our defense in Force of Will. So we're not playing Force of Will in the main deck, which can make us weak to combo decks, but if we run into Storm, other fast combo, we have all the forces in our sideboard to bring in. Along with Thoughtseize, another good way to disrupt our opponent, Pithing Needle to take care of stuff on the battlefield, a bunch of graveyard hate with Nile Spellbomb and Rest in Peace, Hideseek, kind of funny, its artifact hate can also exile a key card from our opponent's library, even gain us a bunch of life. One Counterbalance, I'm not really sure the plan of this one. I guess we have like Brainstorms, we have Enlightened Tutor, but I don't really know the exact plan. I guess maybe you just tutor this up with Enlightened Tutor, play it, and hope that it's good in certain matchups. Zealous Persecution can be removal for little creatures, also good pump for our creatures, and that is Breya Opposition for Legacy, and that's been our Instant Deck Tech for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.